Mohammad Bakri, thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview. This is a big honor for me. And I know you're a busy man, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Miko. Thank you. It's my honor too.
So I was thinking, when was the first time I heard your name? When I heard about you? And I don't know. My whole life, I knew about you. I think I'm maybe 10 years younger than you, but my whole life, I knew about Mohammad Bakri and
How
your
old
work.
are you? How
I'm,
old are
I'm 59.
59?
Yeah.
It's eight years between us.
Okay, 8 years, yeah. But my whole life, my whole life, I heard about Mohammad Bakri. And you know, I grew up in a very Zionist Israeli family. Very Zionist Israeli family. My father, my grandparents, the whole thing, every day, all the time. But you were a big name. And so I want to thank you for that. And also, even though coming from this very background, Zionist background, Mohammad Bakri, the name and the work you did and continue to do was always a source of hope, a source of kindness and beauty. All the things that I think we love about Palestine was in your name and in your presence and in your work, even though I think I met you once or twice my whole life and maybe very quickly. So again, I want to thank you for that. And I thought maybe we could start, if it's okay with you, if you could talk just a little bit about your background, where you were born, your education, what it was like, where, you know, stuff like that, your family a little bit, just so we people have an idea.
Well, I raised up in
You still remember, right? You didn't forget this. It wasn't so long.
yes, no, because you said you were born in a Zionist family.
Yeah.
I was born, my father was in his youth, when he was young, a communist.
Okay.
And very active, very, radical communist. And when I was born, he told me later on that I was born in a very small, very small place, Khushi, it's called in Arabic, which is made of mud, not even stone, not even, it's made by mud, and very poor place. And I remember we were, me and my father and my mother and my grandmother and my grandfather together in the same very small room. And they made me mahaluti. How do you say that in English?
Circumcised.
Yes, all the Communist Party came to that small place to celebrate my cutting of my
Yes.
small dick. That's the story that my father told me. And later he became anti-communist. I don't know why. Until now, it's for me a big secret why he changed like at once. I mean, and he became Mapam, like Labour Party at that time. And later on, he became a very fan of Mr. Yitzhak Rabin. Yes, he really loved Yitzhak Rabin, and he was fighting for people to vote for Rabin for the Marach.
Wow. So the
And
place you were born, what is the name of the village you were born?
Albania, Albania.
Albania has a very interesting history, though, right?
Yes, yes,
I just happened to read something and the name came up. Do you
yes.
know the book? Do you know this book? about Dahir Omar?
Sure, sure. He
So
was
he,
in Albania. He was
yeah.
in Albania, yes.
So in this
And
book, and I knew you were from Albania, and when I was reading this book, it says that one day his father didn't know where he was, and then they found out that he went to Bane
yeah,
when the Ottomans were coming to attack, and as a little boy, he went to try to help to save
that's
Bane.
right. That's right.
Right? So that's an interesting history, no?
Yes, it's also mentioned in many books, historical books. One of them is Malik al-Jalil by our friend Nasrallah.
Yeah, this is it. This is the English version.
This is the
Yeah,
book, right?
yeah,
Malik al-Jalil. Anyway, he's a very good fellow, very good friend, and he's really very
yeah.
talented. I believe that you must meet him and make a Zoom with him because he is really very interesting man.
Well, maybe
Anyway,
you can help me. That's I would love that. We can
I
talk
will
about
I will
stuff. Yeah.
contact between you and him. He is really nice. I made with him a very long interview for the Palestinian TV 3 4 years ago,
Oh wow.
2 hours about his novels and his work.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I raised in this place where my father was, I remember, anti-communist, and he fought at that time. It was military rule in Galilee. You know,
Yeah.
الحكم العسكري, the مشالة سبعيد,
Yes.
between the years 1948 and 1965. And Albany was a very small village with few hundred people, no more, no electricity, no water, nothing. It's like a very small Palestinian camp with all the meaning of being in a camp, because, as I said, it was a military rule, and you were not allowed to leave the village without a license from the commander in the military,
Yes.
which was very, very, very close to the village in Majd al-Kurum. Until now, the place is there. It's a very mafkhid, very, very frightening place. It's like Iraq, as a
It's like
mafkhid,
a castle. Yeah.
very, very scary.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Like a fortress.
so it was a very poor place, very poor village, and I raised in somehow I was very, very skinny and very اللي بتخون. I
You
didn't
feel
have
confident.
I was, yes, I was a weak boy and shy, very, very shy, and my voice was very, very weak. I couldn't speak. And I remember in the school, in the military, in the elementary school, in the day of the Independence Day of Israel, I was reading poems for celebrating Israel and singing Zionic songs. And one of them, Kol Od
Yeah.
Baleva Penima.
The Tikva,
I,
the
I
Israeli
was,
anthem. Yeah.
yes, and I was singing that. You will laugh at me now with tears in my eyes because it was a very sensitive song, and I didn't know the meaning of that word, but it sounds for me a very, very sad song, like longing, like Hava, like Gagoim, nostalgia,
Yeah.
many things. And I knew there's something wrong with that, but I didn't understand.
Where did you go to school? Where was the school? In Bane?
In Albania, in the same school where Mahmoud Darwish studied, in the same place, and one of the teachers was the brother of Mahmoud Darwish, Ahmed Darwish. He taught me Arabic. And the secondary school I finished in Akka, and then I decided to go and to study acting in the
Why?
in, in the
Why
in
did you
the.
decide to study acting?
I never know why. I never knew why I want to be an actor.
You didn't do it in high school or in secondary
No,
school?
no, no. I was in the village, in my village, Albania. There was a man called Yusuf Boulos, and he was an electric engineer, and he created a cinema in the village. He brought like a generator,
Yeah,
and there was no electricity in the village, as I told you. And he made this cinema. He made screening of films from Hollywood, from directly from. I remember that I saw Gone with the Wind when I was like 10 or 12 years old
yeah,
in the village.
yeah,
I remember that when I was 16 or 17 years old, I saw Zed by Costa Gavras in the village, in that cinema. And he was a crazy man. He has blue eyes and very, very, very high sense of humor. And he was translating the films simultaneously with a small microphone. He was holding the microphone in
mm,
that window where the projector is coming out,
yeah,
and putting his head and looking at the screen, and translating the film simultaneously with his voice. And with his voice was louder than the voice of the cinema, you know. So we got used to him because he was so funny, because he was swearing, Ya Mikhail, he was swearing. He was not just translating. He was, inside the story, and he was, wow, the bastard said to him like that, and he, fuck him, no, da, 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 da. And it was very funny. And one day later on, when he was sick or something, and he didn't come to translate, nobody enjoyed the film anymore because he was not there.
it is
So we
boring.
got used to his voice. He was very, very high tenor voice like that. So I fall in love in cinema, with cinema, since I was, I think, 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah,
And in the end of the 60s, like the first film I saw, it was in 58, I think,
mm,
when I was 5 years old. So I raised in this atmosphere. In one side, there is a fear, and there is a poverty, and there is a very small and poor place. And the other side, I saw cinema, and I fall in love with it. And later, when I was in the secondary school, I thought that it's good if I will.
so you were saying you went to theater school after secondary school.
Yes, then I started thinking about studying acting. Uh, and I never see, I never watch any play because there was no any theater around in Arabic. So I didn't know the difference between cinema and TV and theater. For me, the same thing, it's acting. So in the secondary school, when I decided to go and study theater, I was afraid to tell my father because my father wanted me to be a doctor,
Of course.
prophet, and he was a very strong man. So I was afraid to tell him because I knew that he will not agree. So I told him that I want to study literature in the university, and besides the literature, I studied theater without telling him. I hid that because I was afraid. of him. He was very, very strong man, big authority, you know.
Yeah.
So the first time I came to Tel Aviv, it was in 1973 when I was almost 19
That
years
was
old.
where you went to theater school in Tel Aviv.
Yes, in the university.
So your Hebrew and was at a
Yeah,
level where you were completely comfortable.
to study Hebrew. I didn't know the language. I was afraid. I didn't
Okay.
know how to deal with it. It was exactly after the war, 1973, Melchemet Yom Kippur. I didn't know any Israeli person. I never met Israeli people. Never, never.
So you just finished a secondary school and
And
decided to go to Tel Aviv
straight, yes.
from the Husha to Tel Aviv.
From the Khusha of Albania without electricity, without, and we were laughing, you know, at that time about a man who has something in his ass, thorim. How do you say thorim in it?
Yes, hemorrhoids.
Yes, and he went to the doctor to make the surgery, and he was laughing during the surgery, and the doctor asked him, "Why you laugh? How come you laugh? Isn't painy for you? It's not pain." He said, "Yes, it is, but I laugh because the electricity arrived to my ass before arrived to my village." So that's the joke that was at that time because we didn't have electricity, and I came to the university. Still, there was no electricity in the village.
So wait a minute, 1973 in
Yes,
Bane, which is supposedly Israel, and you are Israeli citizens, and
yes,
your village has no electricity yet.
no electricity.
1973.
Yes,
I
yes.
it, I was
But
born in 1961. I never saw a house without electricity.
yeah.
Of course, I never saw a Palestinian house, but you know what I mean.
I didn't see electricity only in the university, not before.
Wow.
And
1973.
one day I came home, I think in 1975, maybe 4 or 5, and there was electricity in the village. And I knew that my father, he was the chief of the municipality,
The mayor?
Rosh Muatsa,
Oh, head of the music, head of the
head
council.
of the yes, and he brought the electricity to the village the first time.
Wow.
So from this
So,
place to that place, it was like to move from a small village in India to New York. The same thing.
so you went to theater school at where? Tel Aviv University?
Yes, yes.
What was that? What was that like for you?
It was like uh, 24 hours of shock every
Why?
day.
Can you explain that?
Because everything is different. Everything is different. When I came to the university, um it was very very hot day. I remember the day, and I was wearing a suit, khalifa.
Yeah, suit. Yeah, of course.
Yes, black one, like your black one, and it was very hot day. And when I came to the Mexico
Yeah,
faculty in Mexico,
yeah.
so people almost naked there with shorts and tricot, and nobody was with the Khalifa, with suit.
Suit. Yeah, nobody wore a suit but you, except you.
Everybody was looking at me. I didn't know why they are looking at me. I didn't understand in the beginning. But after I understand that I look different from everybody. So it took me time to get used to everything, to the language, to everything, to all details of life. It wasn't easy for me to make that transformation, that change, it took me a lot of time. And I was afraid. I was speaking in a very, very low voice, like whispering, because I wasn't confident. I wasn't loyally بتخون.
Yeah.
I remember the teacher were kept telling me, raise your voice, we don't hear you. And I didn't know why, because it was like some psychological thing that I came from that place, and everybody was afraid there. Everybody was like, uh,
Occupied.
yes. But
So,
these
but you didn't study. Did you study literature and theater, or just theater? The literature
yes,
was just for your father.
yes, but more theater. I was focused more on theater than literature.
Yeah. Wow.
And my teachers, I think all of them loved me very much, especially Nola Shelton, my teacher, Jewish from New York, from Manhattan, and she's alive until now. I visited her 2 weeks ago. Now she is 99 years old, and she asked me to see Janine because she didn't see it, and
Wow.
I sent her. Just today, I spoke with a friend of her, young man Israeli, who will show her the film on the computer today or tomorrow.
So she hasn't seen it yet.
No, she
So you don't
didn't.
know what she's going to. Okay. We'll talk about Janine later, but
No,
okay,
she
good.
has a lot
Wow.
about it, but she never saw it.
Yeah, yeah.
So she has a very nice student. His name is Gidi, who studied in Tel Aviv before I came, and he was killed in 1973
In the war.
in the war.
Oh,
And she loved him very much.
oh,
And she sometimes, I felt that sometimes she saw me like that soldier who killed Gidi because I'm an Arab. And sometimes she saw me like Gidi himself.
that's a lot of
So
that.
the Shigeauti, I was totally confused and crazy because
So
one day she,
did you arrive at the university after the war or before the war?
after the war, in the same year, in October or November, at the same year of the war. Yeah, I mean, maybe 2 or 3 months after the war.
After it started, you mean? Or after
Yes,
it finished? Yeah.
started. I believe it was 2 months after the war. The war was in October, and
Yeah.
we started studying maybe December or January the same year. But when I came to the university, the first time it was something like June or July in order to make a rishum, نرشمت
Yeah.
الأونيفرسيتي.
The application, yeah.
Yes. So, and Nola was, I mean, loved me very much, and in the same time, I felt she has a problem with me. I couldn't put my finger on her problem. Why? But later on, you start thinking about things and you can analyzing and
Of
thinking
course.
why she was like. And in the university, uh, I burned all my ships behind me. You know what I mean?
Can you explain that?
Yes. It's like I was in a ship in the sea. I came to a new place, from the village to this place, and I burned my ship because I decided not to go back there. I wanted to study and to succeed. So I burned the ship in order to be just to face this new reality and to succeed, just to succeed. I had a very big ambition to succeed as an actor. And that's what I did with
Yes.
Nola. And Nola, in the first time I appeared in the theater, it was 1977, I believe, 77 or 78, in a very famous play by Arthur Miller, A View from the Bridge,
Ah, yes, of course. And this was in Hebrew, or where was this?
in Hebrew. In the theater, there was no Arabic theater.
So
Yeah,
your first
just
play
Hebrew.
out of your first play out of theater school was Arthur Miller in Hebrew
Is
in Tel Aviv.
yes,
Why?
yes, all over,
Why?
all
Which,
over, and it was
which?
very, very big success. Very big success. We did it more than 800 times.
Wow.
Two,
Which theater
three,
was this?
yeah.
Which theater?
Oh, yeah. It's called
Uh,
Haifa Theater. Belongs to Haifa Theater, but it was like individual group. We were just a group. We do it all over the country. We were like ensemble that we make everything. We build the decoration. We made everything together. It was like small comunas, like small group who was an ensemble that we did everything together. And I played an Italian young man, blonde hair, like gold hair, and my name was Rodolfo, one of the very important roles in the play. And that was my first meeting with the Israeli audience.
wow. And everybody knew that you were Arabi or
Sure,
Palestini, right? Yeah.
sure,
And you were the
sure.
only
But
Palestinian in the ensemble.
because yeah, I have a blue eyes and
Yeah.
nice looking, they thought I am Israeli, or they never think that I am an Arab. They thought I am European or something like that. I mean the Israelis.
Yeah.
And every time they were shocked to understand or to find out that I am an Arab.
Can I
And
ask you one
later,
thing? Can I ask you something if you don't mind? Can you move the camera up a little bit? Sometimes it cuts your head off a little bit. Can you move the camera up a little bit?
up like this,
Ah, بالضبط.
or
Yes.
the opposite.
No, no, no. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Are you comfortable like
That's
this?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I don't like Zoom, but I cannot complain because I like to talk to you, but I don't like Zoom.
yeah, I know. That's what we have to do now. I have to say, as I'm
You look
listening
great.
to, huh?
You look great.
So do you. Thank you.
You look like you are used to it. I am not.
I am pretending. I am actually very excited. I can't
Okay.
tell you how excited I am. But as I listen to you speak, from the moment where you describe how and where you were born, and how there was no electricity until 1973, and then you are in this theater ensemble doing Arthur Miller in Hebrew in Tel Aviv, and people don't realize, in Israel, Israelis don't say Palestinian. We used to say Arab. The word Palestinian didn't enter until much later, especially not the Palestinian citizens. And we never saw you. We didn't know you exist, and we certainly didn't know you exist in a different world. Like you say, coming from a small village in India to New York, we didn't know that the small village in India existed right half an hour drive. So I'm just telling you how what I'm seeing and what I'm thinking while you're telling this incredible story. And coming from where you came, and then your first play is a translation into Hebrew of Arthur Miller. I think we need a minute here to let this sink, you know, to let this sink in, because it's a it's a huge leap. It's an incredible step. It's مش معقول يعني. It's hard to believe. So how long before you started working in Arabic and doing theater in Arabic?
ככה להסתכל או למעלה יותר? תגיד לי. ככה להסתכל או למעלה יותר?
מה נוח לך?
ככה.
אוקיי, חלאס.
בסדר?
כן.
רואים את העיניים ככה?
רואים את העיניים. רואים את העיניים הכחולות, כן.
לא, אבל מבחינת התמונה זה בסדר ככה או ככה?
עדיף קצת למעלה, אם זה נוח לך, אבל גם ככה זה טוב.
כן, בסדר, כי ככה אני רואה אותך, ולמעלה אני פחות רואה אותך.
מה שנוח לך, אל תדאג.
טוב, ככה יותר נוח לי. טוב. Okay, so what was the question?
So your first play, you're saying, is in Hebrew, a language that you really didn't really have much of a control, much experience in until you came to Tel Aviv a few years before, and that is your first play. And you're on the stage, and you have to not just speak it, but you have to be to act in it, which is a whole different reality, right? How long was it before you did theater in Arabic?
The first time I did theater in Arabic, it was 10 years later.
10 years later.
1986. When I was ripe politically, when I understood who I am and what I want, and why I'm doing theater, and why I'm dealing with movie and cinema, only then I decided to make a theater in Arabic to tell my own story.
So that was 10 years later.
10 years later.
So what happened in those 10 years? Can you describe how you came to this?
I worked in the theater, in the Israeli theater. I made small roles here and there, never made a leading part, only in View from the Bridge, the first part. After that, I was just spending my time muftal, no work, looking for a work, never find, until the moment came and I thought, but maybe I am not good, I'm not talented, so I must leave the theater because I have no roles, I have no work, and perhaps I'm not good. Why I don't have work, I didn't know. I I really didn't know. And in 1983, I never made a main role in the theater, in the Hebrew theater. Not in Habima, not in Haifa, not in Beer Sheva, not in Hakameri, not in Beit Listen. No. And the first time I became like star, it was in 1983, after 6-7 years, and from that time, from the View from the Bridge, Costa Gavras came to Israel looking for an actor, and at that time we did a play called Home in Arabic, directed by Palestinian and Israeli directors. And the conductor, the main director was Joe Chaikin from New York, Joseph Chaikin, who was also with Nola Chilton. They were friends. And you will laugh at me, and I worked with him in Habima Theater, a small part, in one of the most famous Hebrew plays, Hadibuk.
Oh yes, of course, the Dibu, of course.
I was a khatan,
Ah yes, the groom. Yes,
the
yes.
groom, yes. And then in 1982, there was the most, the most important turning point in my character, in my knowledge, and my understanding what's going on. And the first time I feel really Palestinian, it was after Sabra and Shatila, the massacre. 1982, Sabra and Shatila. And then we made a play, a cabaret, three Israelis, three Palestinians actors working together, making a cabaret, a political cabaret against Sharon, which called Sabra and him, they. And at that time, Costa Gavras came to look for an actor for his new film, Hanake. And I met him, and he asked me to make an audition for him, and I did. And I have the role, and I made my first leading part in the international movie, Hanake, which is telling the film about the right of return for the Palestinians.
That's very revolutionary for 19. What was it? 1983.
83.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And then after that, I made the first Israeli film leading part, Beyond the Wall, מאחורי הסורגים.
Yeah. Beyond the bar, the like the bars of a prison. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then in 1986, I decided to make my first one-man show, The Optimist by Emil Habib.
Okay. So I want to stop you right there, and I want to go a little bit forward and then go a little bit back. One of the movies that you made, which I saw, I don't know how many times, and I always tell people they must see, is Since You Left.
Oh, wow. I love,
So
I love that movie.
this movie has so many incredible elements. It's impossible to speak about all of them, but I want to ask you about a few. First of all, it starts with you are walking to the gravestone, to the
Cemetery.
tombstone, to the cemetery, and then to the gravestone of Emil Habibi
Right,
to speak to him.
right.
And another thing in this movie, which is made a strong impression on me, was the voice and the singing as the background. And later on, I learned that it is the voice of. Well, you tell me about the voice and the singing. Maybe let's talk about the voice and the singing, and then we go to Emil Habibi, if you don't mind.
The voice was my daughter. You mean the singing in the
Yes,
background?
yes, yes, yes,
My daughter Yasa,
yes,
who has a lovely voice that I really love her voice, and
yes.
she was singing for me songs that I love. I mean, starting with صوت في سكون الليل. I cannot do it now. I mean,
It's absolutely enchanting. The music, the voice, and the words of this song in the
voice,
background.
yeah, a voice in the silence of the night is calling me, and it makes my tears come out of my eyes. خلى دموع تفر من where you taking me? فين يا موجي وديني. Yes, it's like when you take me with this voice, you, the waves of longing, because the cemetery where I visited the grave of Emil Habibi, it is very close to the sea, Haifa Sea. So,
And I was telling you earlier, before we started to record, this morning, I was already prepared for speaking to you today. And I somehow came across your interview in Bet El Qasid in Beirut.
yeah,
And while he's talking to you, suddenly there's a little message and
yes.
a song from Yafa, from your daughter.
He
Also,
surprised me. I didn't know she was there,
yeah,
and he surprised me with her presence in the film I didn't know before.
yeah, and her voice is incredible. And that was a very, very wonderful moment. It's a really, really wonderful interview. So tell me about Emil Habibi. Who is he? Who is he to you? Why do you go to his grave? Why do you talk to him and of all the people in the world? And what do you tell him?
You know, I can say that Emil Habibi was for me my spiritual father. I mean, he was a mentor for me. He taught me many things that I didn't know before. He taught me to smile when I need to cry. He taught me to make fun of myself, to للضحك على اسمي.
Yeah.
He taught me to be responsible of the words that I'm saying, to mean what I say and to say what I mean. He taught me many good things, many clever things. I think he is one of the most clever people I ever met in my life.
Who was he? Who was he? Can you
He
tell
was
us
a,
something about him?
he was a writer. He wrote The Optimist and some other novels, but I believe that his masterpiece was The Optimist. And he was a very activist in the Communist Party. He was like more than like 20 years Haber Knesset, a member of the parliament, representing the Communist Party.
Yeah.
And he had a very special, clever sense of humor. He was very funny and very charming. And he was a very good speaker.
Yeah.
Some people said that he was better than Jamal Abdel Nasser. That
He had a
his
big voice, I remember.
voice and charisma,
Yeah.
and I was witness in many places in the world. We traveled a lot together to Europe, all over the world, America, Europe, Arab world, performing the Peace Optimist, our play. And I saw him in many positions. I mean, different positions that proved to me how honest the man was
Did he write the Optimist in Arabic or in Hebrew?
in Arabic. And
How did you meet him? How did you meet him?
well, I was at that time. I was a very well known in Israel because I made that film Beyond the Walls, Beyond the Bars by Uri Barabash, and the film
Yeah,
was
that became an iconic Israeli thing. Yes, everybody knew about that. Yeah.
everybody saw the film, so I was a big star in Israel. So when I thought about the play to make a one-man show from his book, the novel, I called him. He was the editor of Ittihad, the newspaper of the Communist Party, and I met him in his office, and I asked him to give me the permission to adapt the book from novel to one-man show. And he was like, how come you want to make a play by the novel? I said, honestly, I don't know how. I don't know how to make it, but I want to adapt it. First of all, I want to write. And after I finish, I can show you what I did. And that, so he thought that I'm not serious because how come you can make The Optionist in one man show? It's a very big novel with many characters and many places and many stories. How come? So he didn't believe that I can do that, and he didn't know that I'm very serious. So after I finished the first chapter of the book, I came to him. I was reading what I did, and then he gave me the permission to
Why
continue.
did you like it so much? What about The Optimist was so moving for you?
It is our life. It is telling the story of our life because I believe that everybody in the world must tell his story. It's very important to tell your story because, as we say in Arabic, Allah بسمعش من الساكت. God cannot listen to a silent man. You must say what's going on with you, why you suffer, and what you want, and who are you, and what you dream, and what you think, and what you hope, and what is making you nervous, what is making you happy. All these things you must tell to make the life better, to make the world nicer, to make everything happy, to make yourself happy, to get rid of evil or unfair things. And it reminds me the story about the man who who was uh, chosen by his people to go to God as a messenger to tell God what they need at that poor place. He came like from El Bani and he has nothing. And so the people of El Bani, told him, okay, you go to God and ask him to change our life because we don't have electricity, we don't have water, we don't have. I forgot to tell you that we didn't have water also
No
until
running water, yes.
until the end of the 60s. We didn't have water to wash. We were washed one a week. My mother was washing us one a week because we didn't have water. So anyway, so he was sent by his people to God to ask him for help, Gewalt. And then when he was going like flying in the sky, he was seeing the moon and the stars and the colors and the sun. And he was astonished by that. He was like Muksam. He was totally didn't know what to do with that beauty of the world. So when he arrived to God, God asked him, okay, what's going on? What do you want? And he said, I don't know. I forgot. I forgot what I want. Can I go down and ask my people what they want? So you mustn't forget your story. You mustn't be like Muksam or stoned by money. Money, like our friend Roger Waters.
Yes.
You mustn't go there. You mustn't be like stone, like you mustn't forget from where you come. You must remember where you come from. Otherwise, you are a star. And if you are a star, you are not exist. Stars only in the sky. Here, you must be. So you must tell your story. It's very important to tell your story. You know, I remember when I was 20, 22, 23, something between 23, 25. For the first time in my life, I visited a concentration camp, محنة هشمدة,
Yeah.
Dachau. I was very young, and it was the first time I saw the horrible things that the Nazis did to Jews and to all over the people, all over the world, all the poor and weak people. And in that tour, we were in it from the theater, from Haifa Theater, at that tour. And the guide who explained to us all the tachanot, all the stations that the Jews crossed by from the moment they take them in the trains until they burn them in the very ugly things, the התנורי גז האלה.
Yeah, the oven.
Yes, and he was all the time, he was smiling while he was telling the story. And at the end, I asked him, "Who are you?" He said my name. I don't remember the name. I said, "And you are Jew?" He said, "Yes, I'm Jew. I'm survivor of the Holocaust." And I said, "And why you don't go to Israel to live in Israel?" He smiled like very small smile like you did now, Miko. And he said, "If I go to Israel, who will tell my story? Who will tell this story?" I found out that, I understood how much important to tell the story because people forget.
Of course.
People forget. They have very short memory. And usually, the strong people, the occupier, they write the history, not the occupied. The occupied are busy, are occupied with their problems. That's the reason that the Palestinians don't know to tell their story because they are occupied with so many problems around. So they don't have the tools, the elements, the way to tell. They don't have. The Palestinian story is not told until now. Very few people knew to tell their story, the
Yeah.
Palestinian story. One of them is Mahmoud Darwish, and the other one is Ghassan Kanatani, who is standing behind you.
And we're going to talk about them as well in a minute. But I want to go back to the movie since you left. So you go back to Emil Habibi to his grave, and what are what do you tell him?
I told him what happened to me, to us, since he left. And I told him, I asked him, perhaps he taught me to be responsible. He taught me to be optimistic. He taught me to be open for peace and for understanding the other and trying to make the maximum in order to make life better. And not to be extremist, not to be fanatic, not to be responsible. As I told you, to be responsible for every word you say. So I am telling him I was responsible. I go exactly as you taught me, but it doesn't helping me what to do now.
Now, he died in 1996,
96.
and you are going back to his grave. What is the year when you go back to his grave and make this movie?
2004, 5.
So many, many, many things happen.
Many things happened that he didn't know.
And one of the things you talked to him about, I remember you had I think one of your sons was born. So you tell him that.
Yes, that's right. And
And
I'm telling
then,
many things that happened since his absence.
yes. And then also there was the October 2000 when 13 young
13 young
Palestinians,
killed by the police, by the Israeli police. Yeah.
and you tell him about that.
It's like, I'm telling him and questioning him in the same time. Is our way is the right way? Perhaps because, end of things or end of films, more correct to say, end of films are very important because that thing, when you end the film, that's what you take with you home when you finish watching the last scene. The last scene in the film, I'm telling Emil Habibi, where are you, Abu Salam? Where are you? You see, I am laughing at myself, cheating myself, and say there is a hope, despite the fact that I am falling down on my head, like boom. And despite that, I create a hope. Say, Yeto, Yebiseder. Am I right?
Why do you call him Abu Salam?
Because his name is Abu Salam. His first son is Salam.
Ah, okay. That is his name. Okay, that's why.
Peace. Because he
Yes.
believed. And that's what you ask me what I learned from him. Peace. To make peace. To be Abu Salam. But this man who believed in peace and want peace became Bin Laden in Israel.
What do you
My,
mean? Oh,
they,
you.
they made me Bin Laden in the Israeli media.
So in this movie, you also talk about. I remember vividly. You are, I think, at a some demonstration. I think it's around the time of the Jenin. The Israeli army went to the Jenin. They went to the West Bank. They made some terrible attacks there, and a soldier throws a grenade into the people. And you say, well, if this is what they're doing in front of the cameras, we should go inside and see what is happening without the cameras. Do I remember correctly?
That's right.
And then you go in and you make a movie called Jenin Jenin.
Right.
And that changes your life completely. And when you did the interview a few weeks ago on Instagram with Adam, your son, interviewing you,
Yes, right.
wonderful, wonderful interview.
Oh, thank you.
There's a moment there where you tell him something that is very shocking. And I told this to other people since I saw it, and the look on their face is the same. It's the same thing, the same shock that I felt.
Yes.
After the movie, you go back to Jenin and you're in a taxi, and the
Yes.
taxi driver is from the camp. And what does he tell you?
He told me, he said, you was the one who made Jenin Jenin. I said, yes. He said, you made the bullshit. I said, what? He said, you made the bullshit. It's nothing. What are you telling in Jenin Jenin? Nothing of the truth. Very small thing you told. According of what happened here, comparing to what really felt, you did nothing. Bullshit.
So,
False.
So
false.
on the one hand, the Israeli press and the Israeli public and everybody's going crazy, and it's been almost 20 years now, and it's still not finished. And we'll talk about what happened. And this guy who's from the camp is telling you you haven't even shown enough. This was bullshit because you only showed a small fraction.
Yes, that's right.
That is makes you crazy, doesn't it?
Yes, but he is not representing the
No, I
Palestinian community.
understand that, of course, but obviously you can't show everything, and you have to make whatever you show to make.
I was really shocked because I felt like somehow betrayed by him. But I could understand him because the film is not harsh comparing to the reality.
Talk about that. Talk about the film. Talk about what you saw.
I met a woman there that she lost 10 sons in the camp. She has 10 sons, all of them were killed. All of them. 10. And when I was trying to interview her, she was laughing. I was like, how come she laughs? I couldn't use her in the film. Now, I'm sorry that I didn't use her because she was crazy. That's why she laughed. She was not normal. And she was laughing like a crazy woman. Every each question I asked her, she was laughing with very big eyes and very big teeth. And I didn't understand that because I was also under the pressure of trauma. I saw things that I didn't put in the film. Many things, horrible stories that I thought it's too much. I cannot do it. I want the people, uh, especially the Israelis, to watch the film and to understand that it's impossible to live with that, to continue living with this occupation. I wanted to make a film about the global punishment that the army do for every time there is an operation, Israeli operation. The people who are paying the price is not specific people, it's the whole community, the global punishment. That's what I wanted to show according the witnesses, the people who told what they told me, from all ages, from all generations, and the Israeli media, and they
How
say
long? How long
it's
were you in the camp? How long were you in the camp? How much time were you there?
5 days
So you went in and out every day.
or nights. No, I was there all the time.
You slept in the camp.
Yes, 4 days and a half. I was sleeping in the camp. I never left the camp since the moment I came in until I finished shooting because it was closed. I couldn't go and come back because it was a military closed place. You know, they closed everything with tanks and with the army around. So
How did you get in with all the equipment?
I sneaked in like Stananti.
You snuck in. How? Can you describe it?
Yes, I rent a car, 4x4, and we went through the mountains. We could be killed in every moment because there was no street. We go on the Baharim, Masanu Bahar. And when we saw tank, we were hiding. And when the tank crossed, we go, and then another tank we hiding, and that's the way. It took me like 5, 6 hours to get to Jenin. It's half an hour by car in a common day. I mean, so that's the way.
And when did everything explode in Israel? What happened? What was the thing that made everything explode? And what was the explosion? What happened? What did? Who did what? Who made this such a?
I the first screening in the Cinematheque of Jerusalem, it was in the 29th of October 2002.
And I think you show that in the movie since you've left,
Right, right.
right? Yes.
There is a scene from there, yes. And it was full house in Jerusalem Cinematheque, and the people were crying. They were shocked. I mean, the audience, the Israeli audience, and I saw many eyes with many tears at that screening. Tears, people crying. And when I came to the stage to speak with the people, it was like a very big silence. I didn't know what to say, and at least I said, "I feel sad for you and for myself. I feel sad to make this film, and I can understand how sad you feel, and I respect that very much. I'm very sorry. If anybody has any question, I will answer." The people were silent. Nobody speak. Everybody was crying. And then I said, okay, so we go home. But before I left the stage, Leah, the director of the cinematic, she died a few years ago. She was very nice woman. He hugged me, and I was going, leaving the stage almost. And then somebody came, the kippah in his head, and I have respect to people who has kippah. I don't know why, because maybe because I respect religions. I don't know. I have like weakness to people who are religious. And he said, I want to. So I gave him the microphone, and he started saying, "This film is lies. All of the film are lies. This is propaganda." And he started attacking me and the film. And the people in the audience started shouting at him, "Red Mabama, you are killer. You are children killer. Red Mabama, go out. We don't want to listen to you."
Who
And
was
then
he?
David Sangan, his name.
But what does he have to do with the story?
He pretended that he was a doctor in Jenin during the operation.
He pretended he wasn't really.
He said, I think yes, he was. I think yes, he was there. Why he must say that if he was not there?
Yeah, yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah.
He said, I was a doctor in Jenin, and all what you see is lie, all lie. And there was a big noise suddenly, and the people wanted to grab the microphone from him physically. And I stopped them. I said, please don't let him talk. But he didn't stop talking like 20 minutes, and people were fighting him to stop him. And then day after, there was a big demonstration in Tel Aviv. It was in the Cinematheque of Tel Aviv. He brought many people he himself, from the right wing, and then started all that noise. And he wrote in Ma'ariv, in the newspaper, 7 lies of Jenin, that he shows in the film that there are 7 lies. Now it's not 7 lies, it's all lies. Not only 7 lies. It became all the film lies. after all.
You said before that the people watching the film were very quiet and very sad, and they were crying.
Very moved.
What do you think made them sad? These are Israeli audience. This is an Israeli audience. Yes.
I think that they felt guilty. They felt guilt. And I said, I remember what I said on the stage. I said, if I was in your shoes, I was feeling the same. Because it's really hard to feel guilty for something that you didn't do. To be a part of the global guilt, it's not good. It's like a German who was born after the war and he is accused that he was behind the Nazism. What he has to do with that? German who was born 20 years after, or even German who was at that time in Germany, but he was not a part of the Nazism. How he will feel? If I was German, me, Mohammad Bakri, I was feel shame until today. Even if I have nothing to do with that. But the global guilt will make me shy, will make me bad, feeling bad. I believe that the good Israelis, and there are good Israelis like you and many other good friends of me, will feel bad because they don't want to be a part of this ugly occupation. And
I heard you.
they
I
have
heard,
nothing to do with that.
I
We
heard
must,
you.
I,
I heard
will,
you say.
I must respect these people. I mustn't ignore these people because they are exist. One of the most moving articles that was written about me and the film was by Gideon Levy 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
How can I ignore that? And I told this in the Palestinian TV to show the people in Palestine, the occupied Palestine, that there are very few Israelis who fight for me more than Palestinians, and they are exist, even if there are few people. Even if.
You know, you said in one interview, I heard you say, more actually, I heard you say this many times, that you made the movie so that Israelis will see what happened in the camp, and that you were very surprised by the response that has been going on for 20 years now almost.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you a question that's a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
So you were born, you're Palestinian of 1948. You know the story of 1948. In fact, you made a movie about your aunt.
Right.
Right? And she talks about the ethnic cleansing, and she talks about the horrors of 1948 and coming and going. So you know, and you lived and you worked with Israelis. The reality of the Nakba started in 1948, but really never stopped. And Israelis, you know, we are raised to be very proud of 1948 and everything that we did until today. And Jenin, when you compare the story of Jenin to the Nakba, 1948, and many others, Kufr Kastam and Gaza, and on, that doesn't end, right? Jenin is one small story. And we all live with this. And we never, I mean, a few people criticize, but mostly as a society, we are very proud of the army. We are proud of the security forces. We are proud of, you know, in general.
Yeah.
So why did you think Israelis would want to know this? Because they know what has happened. Everybody was either serving in the army, has a brother who's serving in the army, an uncle serving in the Shabak. Everybody as a society, we are still participating in what has happened in Jenin, but everywhere throughout Palestine and Lebanon. As Israelis, as a society. It's not a secret. It's not that, like, you compared it to the Germans. Well, Nazism stopped. I mean, the World War II stopped. The Holocaust was brought to an end. This never stopped. Nakba, the killing, after Jenin, you know, we remember Jenin thanks to you. and to your movie. That's why we still talk about Janine. And that is, I think, a huge contribution that you made to all of us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about Janine. But since Janine until today, there are how many more massacres and how many more atrocities committed. And all Israelis either participated or have somebody close to them. So what made you think that Israelis will want to know this or will accept this movie since they know it already and they don't seem to make any change? I've been wanting to ask you this question for a very long time.
No, it's very important,
And it's
and
a difficult question. I know I'm pushing here a little bit.
trying to analyze and to think in a loud voice and tell you why I continue do films like Jenin Jenin to show the Israelis. First, I have children, and I want my children to live in peace. I don't want them to suffer the same way I suffered and my people suffered. First, because if I do not tell my story, the desperation will be larger and larger. And desperation create suicide. I don't want my people to suicide. I want them to think about the full cup and not the empty one. I choose to be optimist, and as I said in the film, Since You Left, to my friend Emil Habibi at the end, I create hope from nowhere in order to live. I have no choice. And you know what, Miko? I'm ready to lie if my lies save people. In one condition, I will lie. If my lie save your life and my life. So I'm lying.
You mean with
Okay?
the hope? You're lying with the hope, you mean?
Lying for the hope. I'm lying for the hope. And I believe that the Israeli is not different from any people in the world. They are frightened. They are scared. They are brainwashed. They are told that everybody hates the Israelis. They are told by the Zionist movement and by the Israeli government all over the years that the Arab are primitives, are animals, they want to kill them, and the Palestinians are very aggressive and very violent, and they want to kill the Jews, they want to drink the blood of the Jews. The Holocaust is supporting this lie from behind, in the background. So I must be their psychologist. I must calm them down. I don't want to kill you. By telling my story, I am not hating you. The contrary, I want you to understand why I am angry at you. And there is a big difference between anger and hatred. Anger creates hope because it's like, how do you say, the waves when the sea is big, there are the white thing, but
Yeah.
after everything is going calm. This is the anger. It's not lying, it's not hatred. It's coming and going and disappearing. I don't want אני לא יכול להגיד את זה באנגלית.
תגיד ונתרגם.
אני לא רוצה שהאנגר יהפוך לליין, ל-hatred.
You don't want the anger to turn into hatred, yes.
Yes, because if it take time, it's become like infection. It's hard to deal with it. I believe it's still young. It's still fresh that we can deal with it. 70 years, 75 years. There are some nations who were fighting hundreds of years. And now they are okay. After all, I don't think that English people like the German, or the German like the French, or the French like the Americans, but they live together. I want to create a new life, a new world by telling my story and saying I am Palestinian and I'm not your enemy.
Well, I think you say it very clearly and you say it in a very beautiful way. And even a movie like Janine Janine is very, very painful to watch. And you show terrible things. But even that movie, I think, to me, it seems like it is a huge contribution that you made so that we never forget. And never forget something like Janine, the people you show, the children, is extremely important. And I agree with you. I think that's how you create the hope. I want to talk about another thing you did that has to do with the story of.
Miko, I don't think that I answered enough your question,
Please
because
go ahead.
your question is it worth one program, 1 hour to answer this question, more than 1 hour. So give me just a minute.
Okay.
You know, you are not the only person who asked me this question. My wife too. You know, she told me one day, aren't you tired of trying to prove to the Israelis that you are a human being? Aren't you tired? At the first moment, I didn't find the answer because it was like a slap. But I told her, and I'm telling you, and I'm telling everybody, I am not tired. They want me to be tired. They want me to be desperate. They want me to stop doing films like I did. They want me to stop telling my story. They want to stop me smiling. They want to steal my love and my hope and my creation, my art. I'm not tired. And I will never be tired. I'm sick, but not tired. They succeeded to make me sick physically, but not spiritually. Never. Never. I'm sick, okay. So I take pills, I take medication. It's fine.
Where do you find the spiritual strength? How is it that spiritually you are not sick, but you can continue? Where does it come from?
From my love to my children. From my love in general. From love. From love and respecting the other people. Because everybody has a mother and everybody has a father and everybody has memories in life and different world. I cannot cancel it. I cannot ignore that. We must. I mean, Jews, Armenians, Kurdish, Palestinians, Ethiopians, Alabinim, all the people who are oppressed in the world had the same common mother and the same elements that make us all human beings. And it's never mind what the language we talk about, we use, or the place we are living or born in. Never mind. And I believe that the Israelis, as I told you, are not different from anybody. They were not born occupiers. Child is not born with a gun in his hands. He born and he wants to have the breast of his mother, not the gun. He's not different from my child. In the way they put a gun in his hands.
Who's they?
In the way the people who has the power, the people who has the money, the people who has the interest to rule and to continue with this war for their own interest. Most of the people in Israel and all over the world want peace. Even the Jews, the Israelis who don't want to listen to my story because somebody is pushing them and say, no, he is liar, as they did with me in Jenin.
Very interesting when you said, oh, there's somebody come to say hi. MashaAllah. أهلا. أهلا. محمد.
مرحبا.
مرحبا كيفك؟ قديش عمرك؟
6.
يا حبيبي ما شاء الله.
هذا حبيبي. ذكر الباب وراك.
الله يرضى عليك.
طيب طبعا. Every Friday you're coming to sleep here with me.
It's a perfect time to talk about hope and all the hope that you were talking about, and that was a perfect entrance. Yes.
Very nice timing.
You know, you made a movie. You talk about. Yeah, please.
If I answered your question, I'm trying my best to answer.
You are doing fine. You gave me very good answers. Thank you. Don't worry. We're doing very well. I want to move to another movie because I want to talk about one more thing, or a few more things, but certainly one more movie. Wajib.
Yes.
I asked. I spoke with Saleh 2 weeks ago. I did a Zoom event with him.
Yes.
And my nephew. Anyway, it was very nice. And I asked him about Wajib, because this is a movie you did together, and he's your son, and he's your son in the movie. And he said this was a love story between a father and son.
That's right.
It's very true, a wonderful thing to say. There's a moment in the movie at the end, almost at the end,
Yes, I know.
where there's a big argument.
Yeah.
So big that he leaves the car and he goes out, and I think it's a very important moment, because many people, even Israelis, don't know what is the reality for Palestinians, the 1948 Palestinians, the Palestinian citizens of Israel. And that moment, that argument brings it up. It's extremely, extremely important moment. It's extremely important part of the story, I think. Can you talk about that? Why are you arguing? What are you arguing about? And by the way, it's a wonderful movie.
Thank you. Yes, it is one of my lovely films that I'm proud of. You asked me before why I did the optimist.
Yeah.
I told you to tell my story because people around the world, even in the Arab world, don't know the details of life of being Palestinian inside Israel, not in the occupied territories,
Yeah.
in Gaza or in Israel,
Yeah.
inside Israel, where I was born. And the relationship between me and my father, that he was anti-communist and I was communist. This is the film. To show a love story between a father and a son, and this agreement of way of life between both of them.
But at the end, there's something very specific.
At the end, he is criticizing my way of surviving, that I am hypocrite and I'm trying to because I'm afraid of the Israelis, so I speak their language, and I say, excuse me to live, yani, خشني خاي, excuse me for breathing. He said that to breathe you need to ask the permission from the Israeli, which is right, and he is right, and at the same time I don't want to live, to feel, to live a refugee, to be a refugee, because to be a refugee is to live without dignity, without honor, without far from your roots, far from your home. And you know, things like
But it's a big price you pay. You, the father in the movie, you're paying a very big price.
Yeah.
Very big price in this. I won't say what. I won't talk about the actual last.
I pay that price. I pay that price in order to protect my child.
And actually, Saleh told me that when you were making the movie, you were angry because you didn't want to be on that side of the argument. At the end, with one particular invitation you're supposed to give, you actually agreed with the other character, but you had to play this character.
That's right. I even tried to convince Anne-Marie Jasser, the director, the writer, to cut the scene.
No, that scene is incredibly important. I'm very happy. And the two of you, the tension in that moment is so true.
I think I was wrong. I think she was right. I was wrong
Yeah.
because it's
But
telling
emotionally, this is not a small thing. It's your life.
this 2 minutes, 3 minutes of scene is telling the whole tragedy that the Palestinian people live in Israel.
Yeah. And people don't know this.
You know what? I want to tell you a scoop. The sound man, Allah yarhamu, he died last year by cancer. He couldn't listen to the scene. He was crying in a very loud voice. So he left the sound and went away far because he couldn't see the scene and couldn't listen to the scene because it reminded him his relation with his father. Wallahi. And he told me that before he died, that he was crying a loud voice and he didn't want to disturb us while we were acting. So he escaped very far to cry
And
because it's
this exists, that moment exists, I think, I'm guessing, in the life of every Palestinian in 1948, and every Israeli has a brother, sister, himself, somebody who is in the role of the person that the two of you are fighting about.
that's right. That's right. And
So widespread.
you see, you answered also for my question now. For the question you asked me, it shows and proves that I'm right. But because all people are the same. When you migaredla in taor, when you
Scratch the surface.
yes, that you find out that they are you, like you, exactly like you. This struggle, this conflict that happened at the end of the film happened in every house in the world. This conflict between generations, the old one and the young one. You find it in America and in England and all over the world because we are all human beings. We are all the same thing. That's the reason that I have the hope to change. You found the answer for your question in this.
So I learned something in the interview that I heard when you did in Beirut, El Bet El Qasid. I learned something very interesting about something you're planning. At least it was then, a couple of few years ago, but you said you were working on. And I want to tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was in Denmark, in Copenhagen. I gave a lecture. And at the end of the lecture, I signed my book, and people come and get a book, you know. And this little lady comes up, and I ask for her name because I read the name. In a very small, quiet voice, she says, "I'm Annie Kanafani."
Wow.
And that's what I said. And
Wow.
the son and the daughter were there too. And I said, "You came to my lecture. This is such a big honor, of course." Then, after the book signing, we went back and then we continued the lecture. We did questions and all this. And I said, we have a great honor because Annie Kanafani and the son and the daughter of Ghassan Kanafani, and almost nobody in the audience knew who is Ghassan Kanafani. Nobody knew who is Ghassan Kanafani.
Wow.
And I talked to young Palestinians in America, and I talked to people everywhere. Very, very few people know who is Ghassan Kanafani. And I read some of his work in English. I read a couple in Arabic because I had a very, very kind Arabic professor who read it with me, some of the short stories in Arabic. And besides everything else, he's a incredible writer.
Yeah.
Not just an icon politically and everything else, but as a writer. And I heard in this interview with you in Beirut that you have some plans to maybe produce something. Can I ask you about that, about Ghassan Kanafani?
Yes, before I died, I will do that.
Okay. What would you like to do?
Now I am writing, adapting short stories of him,
Oh, adapting his short stories.
and I'm planning to make a feature of 5 or 6 different stories from his short stories. I'm trying to find the common thing, the link between all these stories, and when I'll find it, I will do the film.
He was 36 years old when he was murdered, assassinated by criminals, the Mossad. And you said this,
36, yeah.
and yeah, 36 years old, and he wrote. So I always tell people, if you want to understand Palestine, you have to read Ghassan Kanafani because he takes you there. He takes you to this moment of pain. He takes you to this moment of an experience that otherwise you never feel. You don't know.
Yeah. You know, that's so right what you said, Nico. I became Palestinian beside what I experienced, the personal experience in life in Israel, but my knowledge and my I became ripe after I finished reading Ghassan Kanafani and Mahmoud Darwish and Emil Habibi and Jabra Ibrahim Jabra and many other people, because this is like Migdalor,
A lighthouse. Yeah.
lighthouse for the Sfinot Avudot Bayam,
All the
for the
lost ships.
lost ships in the sea. They see the light house and they come to the beach safely. That's how I became Palestinian. Again, beside my experience, my life, what I have, what happened to me during my studies in the university, before the university, and after the university. Thanks the the discrimination, and thanks to the racism and the occupation and these stories to make me Palestinian.
And now you are the lighthouse. So we all thank you. We all thank you for. We all thank you for shedding light on so many experiences with your amazing work, really wonderful work. And I can't thank you. It's been almost 2 hours. And I have to thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me your time like this so generously. And this must be
I
very
want to
tiring.
thank you. Really want to thank you that you gave me the opportunity and the stage to tell what I have in my heart. And I want to thank all the people who, like you, all the people who believe in human beings and respect the other pain. And I want to thank all great people who created art, good art, like our friend Roger Waters, and like other people who really believe and live to give from their soul to light our life and to make our life better and nicer and to create hope that one day perhaps all this unfair will stop and the sun will rise one day.
Inshallah. It's a great workplace to stop. And I know you have family and your grandson is there. So I will let you go now. And again, thank you very, very much. Alf, 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 afia.
Shukran, shukran. Thank you, Miko.
And we will be in touch again, inshallah, soon.
אני חייב לך.
לא, 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 לא. אני כן אבקש ממך את הקשר עם אברהים נסראללה. Like,
I will send you his telephone number and his email and his Facebook also.
maybe if you can send an email to me and him together,
I will do that
that would be amazing.
today, tomorrow. We'll do
That'll
that.
be amazing. Take your
You
time.
talk to him. He's really great. He's one of the lighthouse.
I read this, the Kanandil al-Malik al-Jalil, and
He
also
has, yes, he has one great book called, beside this, called
Time of White Horses, Zaman al-Khul al-Bayda.
Bayda, one of his greatest. Yes.
Great book again. Yes, very great book.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much. And again, يعطيك ألف عافية. شكرا كثير.